Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, traders. Steve here at Logic FX Trading, and welcome to our daily FX analysis. Just going to keep it simple today, guys. Economic calendar and the charts, and we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with Omicron. But the news, obviously, I'm keeping an eye on it all of the time. The news that seems to be coming out from the GP's perspective in South Africa is that whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, symptoms seem to be mild. But the powers that be are saying, well, we're only kind of a week or so into this. Let's give it another couple of weeks because those mild symptoms could turn nasty, 7 days, 14 days in. So we'll have to wait and see how that is. I just get the feeling that this is going to be a storm the teacup, guys. I could be wrong, but that's the feeling I get. Okay. So, in the meantime, let's have a look at the economic calendar today. We get Canada unemployment, and employment, should I say, and unemployment. And then we've got non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate in the United States, and then IMS, non-factoring PMI. Forecast 550, previous 531. Is it going to come in at that? Well, where we get a clue about that is if we go to yesterday and we look at the continuing jobless claims and the initial jobless claims in the United States. Forecast 2000 come in at 1956. Forecast 240 come in at 222, both in the green, and therefore we should see good numbers over here today, guys. It should at least come in as forecast or may come in slightly better, which will be good for the dollar. It should push the dollar up, guys. Remembering that we've still got this big thing in the background that the market's overreacting to, or, reacting to, let's say, could turn out to be an overreaction. So I'm just being a little bit careful at the minute with this new variant being around, because it just blows everything else out of the water. If we can get this pandemic out of the way at some point, guys, we'll be able to get back to just normal trading where we're looking at the numbers and we're looking at the charts and making reasonably good predictions. It's just so difficult at the minute, the way things have been. And not just the minute, the last 18 months have been really difficult trying to do analysis, guys. Okay, that's it on the economic calendar for this week. Let's have a quick look at the charts. And these are the alarms that have gone off over the last, overnight, basically. We've got Aussie USD, New Zealand USD, USD Swiss, so there's been a movement on the USD. Yen, and then USD again. So the big movement seems to be on the USD and a couple there on the yen, maybe a couple in the pound, we'll have to see. So let's have a quick look at the yen. It's pulled back there. Nothing much to write home about. Remember, the big story with this at the minute is it going to drop again? What will make it drop? Well, if we get this Omicron out of the way, that will continue to drop. If not, then it turns out to be something that's going to take months to get under control, then you could well see it going up. And therefore, since we don't know the answer to that, I would just leave it alone for now, guys. DXY, still correcting here. It's what we were looking for back here. I'm pretty sure we had a 5-wave move up here. It's possible that's a 4th wave in there. If you're going to call that some sort of expanded flat, it's not beautiful, but if you're going to call that a whole wave, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're in a 4th wave. We should get a 5th wave up there, guys. But as I say, that's technical. Whether the pandemic throws a wobbly in there, a spanner in the works, I don't know, folks. But going on the technicals and going on the normal fundamentals, you would say you're going to get another leg up in on DXY. and therefore with the euro you should get the drop as we were looking for there. The pound's still going to be undecided, or I can't make up my mind about it, because we're probably looking for a little bit of upside to the pound as well. Aussie, well, there's the push down that we were looking for. We did say that maybe there'd be a bit more of a correction in here before you get it, but that alarm's gone off. It's pushed on down. Quite difficult to get into when it's like that, guys. New Zealand, same thing. We're hoping for a bit more up here. It's pushed down. Can it pull back there? Well, that's broken the bottom there. And this is, double bottom at the minute. I suspect there's more downside to this. I'm not going to jump into it at this point, guys. The place to get into this for me would have been up here somewhere. US CAD. Continuing just to push up. The alarm didn't really signal much. Continuing to push up. There's some talk of OPEC and OPEC Plus, as they call it now. I'll just call it OPEC. It's easier, guys. There's some talk of them continuing to or increasing output. But don't quote me on that, guys. It was something I read yesterday. I just got it in my head. But now that I'm saying it, I'm saying to myself, well, why would they increase output when they said a week ago they weren't going to? So let's just keep an eye on that story for the moment. Why am I talking about oil at this point? Oh, yeah, because we're talking about the CAD. Okay, we've moved on to this. Structurally, it looks like it could drop a bit more, guys, but I would prefer to trade in that direction. I'll not be trading it yet. Swedish krona. Right, the thing you need to be careful of here, let's get this out of the way. If you're in this, great, put your stop to zero. If you can get it, if you're far enough away from zero. If you're too close, then you're going to have to put a stop loss down here somewhere. Reason I'm saying is, at the moment, that's a little zigzag there, guys. You could well see something like that to give us a bigger structure on a higher time scale before it goes. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying I'd be very wary of getting in there. If you got in there or you got in there, then fantastic. Try and get your stop to zero in case this happens. If you're not in it, I would wait and see if you get something like that. And then if you take that out to a higher time scale, you can see that it makes sense, guys. It's giving us a bit more of a correction of that move. Doesn't have to give it to us, but look at that there. It could be a bit more downside to that. So just be a little bit wary of jumping into that, guys, at the moment. US yen. It's possible a little running flat there. It could have a drop before it comes back up. But it could also be, is it an ending diagonal? There's a possibility that it's an ending diagonal, guys. And therefore it could go long from here. So what I would do with that is if you wanted to try and trade that, remember this thing in the background, guys, which is what caught me out last week. That we were trading. I traded the yen short, and then on Friday we got the overreaction to Omicron, and I was caught out on it. It's just, it happens every now and again, guys, and it's annoying. But what I would say is, if you do decide to trade something at the minute, just be aware that any bit of news about Omicron that seems negative will push things in the wrong direction, and the opposite, if something comes out that looks positive, it could push it in the correct direction. But just be aware of it. I suspect there's upside to this, folks. Gold. Yeah, I'm kind of running out of ideas with gold, guys. The market just, it's kind of fallen out of love with it. I suspect if we have a bad year next year, with stocks. If stocks become difficult, gold will take a boost off that. The only problem with gold in a minute, it is high, guys. I mean, that was a crazy number that got to $2,075, and it's just been correcting ever since then. So you really would need to see something negative in the economy for gold to be pushed up again. And with cryptos around as well, I really do think they're taking a big whack of the money that would have gone into gold. So I'm not really in love with gold anymore, guys. It just isn't as predictable as it used to be. I do wish I did catch that and profited on it, and I wish I'd have just left it alone after that, because ever since then I've just been in the red with it, and it's not great. Having said that, gold mining companies will make profits at this level, guys. So good profits at this level. So it's just a case of what price you paid for them. And then silver. I was going to say something else there that's completely popped out of my head. Silver, similar story to gold, guys. It's at $22. It's not a bad price. If you want to put some money into something that might take a long time, some sort of safe haven, as it were. Yeah, the thing that was in my head was something to do with that, but I can't remember exactly what it was. We'll just leave it. It will come back to me. Bitcoin, I would love to see it coming lower, down into this sort of level, which is what we were saying the other week. Purely and simply because I would like to have a bit of Bitcoin, guys. I really wish I was braver on this stuff. As I keep saying, it was either there or there. I got into it, and then I just took a small profit and got out. But I do need to start developing a longer term view on these things, and just holding them. But you need to buy them at the right price in order to hold them, guys. Is it going to 100,000? Possibly. Will it drop dramatically before then? Also possible. So for me, at the minute, it's not for me. I am in crypto. There's quite a few cryptocurrencies I'm in at the minute. If we go over here and just quickly look at crypto, I'm in Cardano, which, so far as eToro's concerned, they stopped trading it on in the US, or should I say they stopped their US clients from trading it. I didn't get into the details of that. I don't exactly know why, but it won't have done Cardano any good. I think I'll maybe get out of it, get my money back. I do believe in Solana, and there's another one that was mentioned today that I'm going to pause you and find out what it was called. Okay, there it is there, guys. It's Algorand. I'm not going to bat at that level. Needs to drop a bit. From a technical point of view, I need to see it coming off a little bit, and then I'll be interested in it. Reason being, it's because of the platform, guys. It's faster and cheaper to use than Ethereum. And the little bit of knowledge that I've gained over the last 3 or 4 months about cryptos by doing a little bit of mining, which is part of the reason that I decided to do it, was because it forces you to pay attention to what's going on, and it forces you to learn a little bit about what on earth's going on here. Well, one of the first things I found out was that, yes, I with a month or so research, was able to build what they call a mining rig with GPUs, and was able to make money with it. Not a great deal, but was able to make money, which accumulates weekly and monthly. But then when you try and get it out of that system back into fiat currency, there's massive charges, guys. And then I realized that the charges just weren't changed into fiat currency. If you're if you're changing Ethereum into anything, there's massive charges, guys. So, and it doesn't seem to be related to the amount that you're trying to transfer or swap. So then they developed a system called Polygon, which is very, very cheap in order to do swaps within the system, but you still have to take it out on the Ethereum system in order to turn it into cash. So you still hit the high costs, guys. And anything that can counteract those costs or do away with them has to be a good thing in the long run, guys. So if Ethereum can't fix that problem, which apparently they're working on, gas fees as they call it, if Ethereum can't fix that, then it will die a death. And other systems that don't have the inherent cost structures will come and take over. And if you go back to the 90s, I don't know if any of you were around back then, I'm sure some of you were. AOL was the big search engine, and was it Bing? It wasn't Bing. Bing grew out of whatever it was before. And they just all died a death. And Google became the major. There was Ask Jeeves or something, was another system. There were lots and lots of browsers, guys, and they were all absolutely trounced by Google. And even to this day, Microsoft Edge, when you set up a new computer, Microsoft Edge makes it really difficult for you to use Chrome. They're making it more and more difficult, and you've got to persevere until you get the system or get Chrome working on your system, guys. And to be honest, Microsoft done the same with Word. Microsoft Office used to be able to just buy the thing and use it, and now you've got to do a subscription to it, and it's cloud-based, and it's a nightmare. And even if you download onto you save documents onto your own computer, if you want to try and open them again, there's another subscription, ABC or something you call it. Oh, XPW, although it says Samsung on there. But I tried to use this the other day, and there's a subscription to that as well. Crazy the way it's going, guys. They're trying to get you at every turn. But the point I'm trying to make is the thing that comes along and does it cheaper and faster will end up being the winner. And it potentially will be one of these Solana, Algorand. I don't know that it's going to necessarily be those, but it could well be one of those, which is the reason why I'm looking to these, particularly since you're talking 191. The Solana is a bit more expensive, it's up at 234. And by the way, this time last year it was $3.50. So if this were to take off like that, we could be, and I don't know that it is, guys. I'm just, it's a little bit of speculation. If this were to take off, and I'll do a bit more research on it, and next year it's up, that's only $6. Let's try and find $200. And if it took off to $200, the current graph will look like that. And then I'll wonder why I just didn't buy it at the current level. So I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm just saying that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on over and above currencies, obviously, guys. Right. Enough of that. I've lost... you're an object tree, sorry. Okay, so let's go back to our watch list and run through these, folks. So we were oil. There's been this is on a daily, by the way, there's been a good pullback in oil over the past period of time. Guys, there's quotes out there calling it $100. There's quotes out there calling it $150. So I'm not saying definitely either one, but there certainly will be more upside to oil. The reason it's dropping off at the minute is because of Omicron, guys. Euro CAD, little bit of a push up there against it. This is why once the oil price starts coming back in again, guys, you'll get something like that. Yeah, Euro, Oz, once DXY finishes this correction, folks, you'll see that going the opposite direction. So I'm not saying jump into it today, but this is what I'm looking for. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It doesn't matter because I'm not in it. But if it starts to happen, then at least we're thinking about it. And it'll be the same. Excuse me, folks. It'll be the same with this. Is this going to turn into an ending diagonal? Maybe that pushes up to there and then it goes. Just keep an eye on Omicron. Once Omicron proves to be nothing, if it does, then you'll see that. Euro Swiss, probably the same with that one, but let's hold our horses. There may be better trades out there, i.e. the dollar's setting up at the minute for the next leg up. So potentially that's where we should be looking for our next trade. Pound CAD, a little bit unsure about that. Pound Oz, well, we're getting a push on up. We were looking for it. If we get a correction, maybe we look for it again. Pound New Zealand, unfortunately, it's a bit of a double top. It'll probably push on up through, guys. Look for the next setup. As we said over here, look for the setup. That was the setup, if you were brave enough to get into it. Pound Swiss, yet again, leave it alone in the meantime. Safe haven, we need to be sure what's going to happen with Omicron. Pound Euro, I think there's upside to it, but I never trade it. Pound Yen, same story, guys. Possibly an ending diagonal coming in there. Aussie, same thing. Ending diagonal possible. I'm looking for this to go long, but I haven't been very good at this in the last while, guys. But this is down near the bottom of the range that this pair tends to run in, folks. It's at the bottom side of this. So surely there must be upside to it at some point. Aussie Swiss, my goodness, look at that one. This is on the daily, by the way, and that was the initial pandemic. And this is the reason I'm saying just be careful of the yen, guys. If the market panics again to do with Omicron, then we could well see a push down like that. We're not going to get that again, guys. We could see another push down like that before we start to recover. So for that reason alone, be very careful at the minute, guys. For the next couple of weeks until we get the news coming out that either, this thing's bad, but we have a solution, or no, it's not bad, or whatever the news might be, folks. Aussie CAD. Is that a running flat there, guys? I don't think so. You would have expected that to be a little bit lower than that if it was a running flat. You'd certainly see it, though. This is on a daily, by the way, folks. The reason I'm looking at it on a daily because I never have a clue about this pair. So I'm just looking at it a little bit higher scale to see, is there something there that I recognize? This is obviously some sort of new structure going on here. Yeah. Okay, this one looks a lot nicer. Let's get out of the daily, get down to, say, 4 hours. You do need patience with these things, guys. Certainly looks to me like it wants to push on up. Can it come a little bit deeper? It can. It's come down to 38% or thereabouts. But I can't see a push up on it. But yet again, just be careful. Because if Omicron turns out to be badass, then you could well have that. So be careful of trading the yen at the minute, guys. CAD Swiss, same thing. Let's wait and see what happens with Omicron. If it turns out it's a damp squib, then we'll see that go long. CAD yen will be the same thing there, guys. but we're waiting to see. We do have an ending diagonal there on the 1 hour time scale. So potentially that New Zealand yen ending diagonal, potential long. New Zealand CAD, don't know. New Zealand Swiss, same thing, but not as blatantly obvious an ending diagonal, and therefore don't be jumping into that. Wait for it to break, and then we'll see if there's a setup to trade it long. So don't be getting in here at the minute, guys. Okay, that's it for the week. Speak to you all again on Monday. Bye for now.